You. Yes, you. The man staring at the world through a lens no one else can see. You've felt it, haven't you? That quiet ache, that pull to walk alone. Not because you're broken, not because you're weak, but because you know, deep in your bones, you are not like them. The world screams for attention. It begs for applause. But you'd rather burn in silence than beg for a spotlight. You've tried to fit in, tried to play their game, but it felt like chains, like a lie you couldn't swallow. This is for you, the man who feels misunderstood, the thinker who sees too much, the lone wolf who doesn't howl for approval. Today, we unravel the strangest traits of the Sigma male. Traits so raw, so real, they'll make you say, "What the hell? Stay with me. This isn't just a story. It's your truth." Unraveled. Trait 1. They disappear in plain sight. Picture this. A crowded room, laughter, clinking glasses, voices clawing for attention. And then, there's him, the Sigma male. He's there, but he's not. He stands in the corner, not hiding, not cowering, just existing, like a shadow that moves without sound. People pass him by. They don't see him, not really, but he sees them. Every glance, every lie, every mask they wear. He's not invisible because he's weak. He's invisible because he chooses to be. The Sigma male doesn't need eyes on him. He doesn't crave the nod of strangers. He knows something they don't. The loudest man in the room is often the weakest. Why does he vanish? Because attention is a trap. It pulls you into their game, their rules, their noise. But the Sigma? He'd rather walk through a storm and netun unnoticed than dance in their sunlight for claps. Have you ever felt it? That urge to slip away, to let the world spin without you. Not because you're afraid, but because you're free. He disappears in plain sight, and in that act, he becomes untouchable. The world can't chain what it can't see, and that's power. Trait 2. They reject the game everyone plays. The world is a chessboard, pawns scrambling for position, knights chasing glory, kings hoarding power. And the Sigma male? He's not even at the table. Society hands you a script. Work, climb, compete, smile for the camera, hustle until you bleed. But the Sigma looks at that script and burns it. He doesn't want the corner office. He doesn't need the loud applause. He'd rather build something in silence than beg for a seat at their table. Why? Because he sees the game for what it is. A race to nowhere, a chase for things that fade. Money, status, validation. They're all chains dressed as prizes. He's not lazy. He's not lost. He's just unwilling. Unwilling to trade his soul for a trophy. Unwilling to kneel for a pat on the head. Have you ever said no? Not out loud, maybe, but in your heart. No to the hustle. No to the noise. No to a life that feels like a cage. That's the Sigma in you. He rejects the game, not because he can't win, but because he knows. The real victory is walking away. Trait 3. Their silence is a weapon. Words. They're everywhere. People spill them like cheap wine. Talking to fill the void. Talking to prove they matter. But the Sigma male? He's silent. And that silence, it cuts deeper than any shout. His words are rare, chosen, heavy. When he speaks, the room stops. Not because he's loud, but because he's true. He doesn't waste breath on small talk. He doesn't beg for attention with chatter. His silence is his shield, his sword. It says, I don't need to prove myself. I don't need your approval. I am enough. But that silence, it's not empty. It's alive. It's the sound of a mind that never stops, a heart that feels too much, a soul that sees the world's cracks and chooses to guard its truth. Have you ever held your tongue, not out of fear, but out of strength? Because you knew. Your silence said more than their noise ever could. The Sigma's silence isn't weakness, it's power, it's discipline, it's a weapon that only the strong can wield. Trait 4. They see what others miss. The world is blind. It chases lights. It follows crowds. It clings to what shines. But the Sigma male, he sees the shadows, the cracks, the truths no one else dares to touch. He notices the glance that lingers too long, the lie hidden in a smile, the pain behind the laughter. His mind is a blade, cutting through the fog of the ordinary. He doesn't just see, he understands. He feels the weight of the world's contradictions, the hypocrisy of the powerful, the fragility of the proud, the loneliness of the loud. Why does he see so much? Because he listens, because he watches, because he's not distracted by the noise. His vision is his curse and his gift. It makes him an outsider, a man who knows too much, a man who can't unsee the truth. Have you ever felt it? That moment when the world slows down, when you see what they don't, when you know you're different. The Sigma sees what others miss, and in that vision, he finds his strength, his purpose, his truth. Trait 5. They choose solitude over society. The world loves company, crowds, connections, clout. But the Sigma male, he chooses the quiet, the empty road, the space where his mind can breathe. Solitude isn't his punishment. It's his sanctuary. It's where he sharpens his thoughts, where he faces his demons, where he becomes himself. He doesn't hate people. He just doesn't need them, not the way others do. He doesn't crave the laughter of strangers, the validation of a crowd. He'd rather sit with his own soul than drown in their noise. But solitude isn't easy. It's heavy. It's raw. It forces you to face the truth, your fears, your flaws, your fire. The Sigma embraces that weight. He knows a man who can't stand alone will fall with the crowd. Have you ever craved it? That silence, that space, that moment when it's just you and the universe. The Sigma chooses solitude, not because he's weak, but because he's whole. Trait 6. They sabotage their own success. Success. The world worships it. Trophies, titles, bank accounts that scream, "I made it." But the Sigma male? He's his own worst enemy. He could climb, he could conquer, he could wear the crown. But he doesn't. Not because he can't, but because he won't. He sabotages his own success. He turns down the promotion. He walks away from the deal. He lets the spotlight pass him by. Why? Because he knows. Success, as the world defines it, is a trap, a golden cage, a lie that binds. He'd rather stay free, stay true, stay himself, even if it means staying broke, staying unseen, staying alone. But here's the paradox. In his sabotage, he finds something greater. Purpose, clarity, a life that's his. Have you ever walked away? From a path that glittered, from a prize that wasn't yours, because your soul said no. The Sigma sabotages success, not out of fear, but out of strength, because he knows the only success that matters is the one you define. Trait 7. They fear nothing but themselves. The world is full of fears. Failure, rejection, death. But the Sigma male? He walks through fire without flinching. He stares into the void and smiles. He doesn't fear the world. He doesn't fear its judgment, its chaos. It's cruelty. There's only one thing that haunts him. Himself. His own mind. His own power. His own potential. The Sigma knows the greatest danger isn't out there, it's within. His thoughts can be a storm, his heart a battlefield, his soul a labyrinth. He fears losing control, not of the world, but of the man he could become. That's why he's disciplined. That's why he's silent. That's why he sharpens himself like a blade. Because he knows a man who masters himself can face anything. Have you ever felt it? That quiet dread, not of the world, but of the power inside you, the man you could be if you let go. The Sigma fears nothing but himself, and in that fear, he finds his strength. 90-55. Trait 8. They live for something beyond the world chases what it can touch. Money, fame, pleasure. But the Sigma male, he lives for something else. Something beyond. He's not here for the applause. He's not here for the spotlight. He's here for the truth, the fire, the quiet moments when the universe whispers its secrets. His life is a quest. Not for things, not for status, but for meaning, for purpose, for a reason to breathe. He doesn't need a crowd to cheer him on. He doesn't need a map to guide him. He follows his own compass, a light only he can see. That's why he's different. That's why he's strange. That's why he's Sigma, because he lives for something the world can't understand. Have you ever felt it? That pull, that hunger for something more, something real, something yours. The Sigma lives for the beyond, and in that pursuit, he becomes eternal. 103-40, the awakening, the Sigma within you. So here we are, at the edge of the journey. You've seen the traits, the strangeness, the power, the paradox of the Sigma male. But this isn't just about him. It's about you. The man who's been listening. The man who's been feeling. The man who's been waiting. You are not like them. You never were. You've felt the weight of their world, their rules, their noise, and you've said no. Maybe you didn't shout it. Maybe you didn't scream it. But in your heart, in your silence, you've chosen your path. The Sigma isn't a myth. He's not a hero. He's not a god. He's you. The man who walks alone. The man who sees too much. The man who burns with a fire no one else can touch. Embrace it. Your silence, your solitude, your strangeness. They're not your flaws. They're your strength. The world will try to pull you back. It will try to make you bend. But you don't have to. You are enough. You are whole. You are Sigma. 116-25. Final words. Walk your path. The journey doesn't end here. It begins. Every step you take, every truth you face, every moment you choose yourself, that's where the Sigma lives. Walk your path, not theirs. Yours. It's lonely. It's heavy. It's yours. And in that truth, you'll find your power, your purpose, your fire. So go. Be strange. Be silent. Be you. The world will keep spinning. But you'll keep burning.